Hi, hello, and welcome to the first coffee chat of 2022. That's a little painful to say, I'm not gonna lie. So we're actually using a hot cocoa mug because I didn't have any New Year's mugs and I've been loving this one so far. But if you are new around here, we do these coffee chats once a month. They used to be on my main channel. Now they're just gonna hang out here on this Becca Davis Vlogs channel. And in these videos, we just kind of have a chit chat catch up session where we can talk about anything that's come up, which I really like because most of my videos are very like planned out, figured out, and it's really nice to have these, you know, more casual videos where we just talk about things that I've noticed lately and they're a little more like in the moment, real time, that good stuff. So in this video, we're going to be talking about my goals for the new year. We're going to talk about a couple things to help you for the new year and one thing I really want to stop saying. So let's get into it. All right, so first off, if you are setting goals for the new year, one little thing I want to give you as some help is that I've noticed a lot of people feel almost a little bit stuck in starting routines, in starting, especially with like working on a side hustle, how to like kind of get started with that and get over, kind of overcome the, you know, being tired from working all day and not wanting to work and all of that kind of stuff. So if that is you and you've been feeling kind of stuck, a couple of things. Number one, if you're stuck on where to start, my suggestion would be to come up with a ton of different ideas. So if you are, you know, need to make blog posts and you can't think of what you want to do for blog posts, you don't know what to write about, you feel stuck, sit down and come up with like as many blog post ideas as you possibly could. Same thing for products. If you can't think of any product ideas, sit down and think of all the product ideas you could possibly think of. They don't have to be good, don't filter them out, just go ahead and write them all down and have them all on a giant list. And then look at them and see what you think is going to be the most exciting, because if something is exciting, then you're going to want to do it more than if something's like, that's not very exciting. So come up with a whole bunch of different ideas and do it that way. And that's a good way to get you a little bit unstuck. Tip number two, if you're feeling a little bit more like that, is to think about momentum and not motivation. So I don't want you to be one of those people who's like, I need to get motivated, because like what really happens is that sometimes you're motivated and sometimes you're not, and like that's just life, that's just how it is. But the mark of someone who's really going to do well and continue, and you know, with their business or with whatever it is that we're talking about, is that you can continue to work even when you don't feel motivated. One of my favorite quotes is by Stephen King, the author, and he says, amateurs sit around and wait for inspiration. The rest of us just get to work. So what I want you to think of if you are feeling a little stuck or not sure where to start is just to start. Like, just start somewhere. It doesn't have to be your best idea. It doesn't have to be your best product. It doesn't have to be any of those things. It doesn't have to be the next bestseller. It just needs to be something. Just start on something, and then once you get started, the rest will be easier. And especially if you're looking to like start a routine and maybe you want to like come home and work in the afternoons for an hour every day. Okay, come home and just start on something. And you can start really small, even just like people ask me all the time, they're like, Becca, how do you do all these things? Because I didn't start with all these things. I started with like one thing, and then as I did that, it gave me momentum to then add more things. And as the years have gone on, it's easier and easier and easier to do more things because I have that momentum going, and it just, you know, it just gets easier after a while. So if you can do a little bit, that'll give you some momentum to do a little more, to do a little more, to do a little more. So those are two little ideas for if you're feeling stuck and having a hard time, especially in the new year. If you're looking at goals, if you're looking at starting something new, those will help you a lot. Also, create a schedule and like stick to it. I had a long talk with my coaching I had a long talk with the people in my goal setting course, talking about different like time management things and ways that work for different people. And there's a ton of different ways you can set up your time in order to help you, you know, maximize it. But what it boils down to is you just gotta have a plan and you gotta stick with the plan. And you can change the plan if you need to, but just having a plan for when you're gonna work and when you're gonna get things done is going to be the difference between actually making things happen or not making things happen. So if you want to, you know, do yoga every day, you have to have a plan for when you're going to do that. If you want to, you know, play piano, you got to have a plan for when you're going to do that. And you have to stick to it. If you don't stick to it, then it's not going to work. And if you don't have a plan, then it's also not going to work. So this year, as you're looking through your goals, thinking through all those things, make sure that you are really focusing on that. Now, speaking of goals, I'm gonna put this down. I feel like I always make coffee and then I just like hold it the whole time because I'm too busy. Let's talk through some of my goals for the year. So I haven't completely finalized everything, but I'm going through and I have like my primary goals, and then after that I have kind of like sub goals, if that makes sense, because I have goals under like every different aspect of life, really. So I have like music teacher goals, and I have like Becca's music room goals, and I have, you know, goals for this YouTube channel and goals for the other YouTube channel, and like I have goals for everything, but some of them are more important than others. So I have a couple of goals that are like my main ones, and I'm gonna share some of them so that you can just kind of, you know what I'm up to this year, because I am nosy and I like to know other people's goals, so I figure some of you also would like to know that as well. So a couple of things I'm looking at this year. I have some debt to pay off, so that's number one. That's like I'm going through a book that has a bunch of journal prompts, and it was like, what is the one thing you need to do to feel successful this year? And that was my one thing. I was like, I need to do this. So I have one credit card, and then I have student loans, and I would like to wipe them both out. I should be able to do that this year. And then along with that, to save up some money for a car, because my car is gonna be 15 this year. And so I'm just, you know, anticipating that at some point it's gonna be not wanting to work anymore, and so I want to be prepared for when that point comes, and if it's this year, I would not be shocked. So I have like a number of how much I want to have in savings for a car by the end of the year. Hopefully mine makes it to the end of the year, or at least until I get, you know, at least some of that. This year I'm looking to launch a new course for my music teachers. I haven't decided what that course is going to be yet, but I had a course for distance learning, and it's no longer, you know, very useful because people aren't distance learning, which is good, but it means that the course isn't selling. So I'm looking for a new course, and so I'm looking for ideas. If you're a music teacher, leave your ideas down below in the comments. I have a couple of thoughts, so I might like send it to my email list and ask them what they think. Another project, I would love to write a goal setting book. So I have the goal setting course, and I'm working on the workbook, and I would like to do like a book about it for people who prefer to read. I prefer to consume my information in books, so that's, you know, always my thing. One that was on the list last year and is back on the list this year is that I would like to hit 100 products in my Becca's Bible class. So if you don't know, I have like a secondary TPT shop that's all Bible resources, and it's very, very, very much like a side hustle to me. It's not my main thing, and because of that, last year I did not get to 100, which is what I wanted to, but I did get quite a few. I think I'm at like 89, so I don't need very many. 79, 89, I don't know. I don't need very many in order to hit my 100 this year, so that should be pretty easy. On this channel, looking to get to 100 videos. I know that sounds like a lot, but I have this theory with products and also with videos that it's not necessarily how long has passed versus how much effort you put into them. And so the more hours you can put in early on, the better that your TPT shop or channel or any of that is going to be. And so in, you know, TPT land, that results in products, and in video land, that results in videos. So I would like to hit 100 videos this year, including the ones from last year that are already up. So that is going to be a little bit less than 2 videos a week. I think it was going to be like 7 a month. So we'll see. One of my other main goals for this year is to actually, I didn't write this down, but one of my other main goals for this year is for this channel to not stress me out. So I kind of went through and looked at all the things that I do in my businesses and sorted them into like business versus like hobby. And so my like trying to just get my priorities straight in terms of like, these are the things I really want to make sure I'm
having trouble hearing you.
Thank you, Siri. These are the things I really want to make sure that I'm working on, and these things are things that I can work on. But my main thing with those is that they shouldn't stress me out. Like hobbies should not stress you out. So this YouTube channel is not allowed to stress me out. So if it's gonna feel stressful to get 2 videos out, I'm not gonna do that. And so that's, you know, my preliminary ideas right now, but that could change by the end of the year. So we shall see how I'm feeling, and I'm gonna kind of keep my eye on that. I have a couple of goals, and this happens every year, where at the beginning of the year, I'm like, this is what I think I want, but sometimes that stuff changes throughout the year. So I saw that last year, there were a lot of goals that I had that I just decided that they were no longer important to me, or I kind of changed my priorities. Like I said, like I didn't get to 100 products in Mecca's Bible class because my priority was getting stuff up for my music people. So different things like that, just, you know, I would like to hit 100 videos, but I don't want it to stress me out. I would like to finish the cello book that I'm currently on. So I've been working through the Suzuki books. I don't remember what number I'm on, but I would like to finish that one this year because I would like to actually spend more time on it this year. I want to read 35 books. That was my goal this year, and I didn't quite hit it. I think I'm ending right about like 32, so I'm pretty close. So I figured I'd just keep it the same next year. Make life a little bit easier. And overall, just to do a little more reading and a little bit less watching. I feel like I did a lot of TV watching this year. So I want to do a little bit more reading and a little bit more like things that are actually going to help me in life. And oh, 2 more. Okay, so I want to do some hiring. I want to hire a video editor and a maid. I said both those things last year and I didn't do either one, but this year is happening. I've determined it's a thing. So now what I'm sure you're the most curious about is money-wise, what I'm shooting for in my business. So I will go ahead and tell you, I would like to hit 150,000, which sounds like a lot, but this year's not quite over, but I'm currently sitting at like 95. So I feel like that's not a huge jump from where I am to where I would like to be. And again, that's another one I'll keep my eye on, and it may change throughout the year, but I feel like that's not a giant jump. I guess it's like 50% increase. Maybe that's a lot. I don't know. But that's kind of where I'm shooting. And more important to me than that is that I would like to get to the point where my business is usually in the 5 figures. So that's really what I'm focusing on, even more than the end number. So if it ends up being, you know, 12,000, great, or 120,000, then great. But I'm really looking at like most months to get over 10,000. So that probably won't happen in the spring, but hopefully by the fall we can be up in that area. And just, you know, I've worked all the numbers out to figure out that that's gonna put me in a really good place, both like business wise and then also like our family wise. So that's where I'm headed. Now, of course, again, those things, a lot could happen in the next 365 days, so I can't guarantee those things will actually happen, but those are the things I am shooting for. Now, before we go, I do want to say one more thing, and that is something I've noticed a lot lately, is people asking about comparisons and, you know, comparing their business to other people's businesses that they think are about the same, or asking in Facebook groups like, hey, how many products did you have when you were making this much money? And things like that, like people are even asking for comparisons. And I totally get it, because you want to know, is my business doing, you know, what it should, and where should it be, you know, and all of that kind of stuff. But I want to encourage you to not do that, because like I said, everybody's business is super different. And just like I said, you know, it's about the time you put into it and not about the length of time that has gone on. Everyone's businesses are super, super different, and everyone's in different circumstances. And so it's really hard to look at 2 different businesses that should be in the same spot, because they usually aren't. People have different products, they have different niches, they have different focuses, they have different amounts of time they can spend on their business, and all those things translate into different things. Even I was reading through one of the, like I said, on the Facebook group, it was like, how much money did you make, or how many products did you have when you made this much money? Which I feel like that is a better indicator than like years wise. But even within that, there were people who were like, I have 12 products and I'm making $1,000, and other people who were like, I have 90 products and I'm not making $1,000, you know? And so it was like all over the place. And that really like reminded me that everyone's journey is super, super different. And even though it's hard don't look to other people to compare your business to, but compare yourself to yourself. That's actually one of the things I like about my videos, talking about, you know, income reports and stuff like that, is that I get to compare myself to myself previously, and you can kind of look and see like how my business has grown, but I'm not comparing it to other people's businesses because they're so different. You know, I have friends that had their TBT store for years and like hardly made any money, and then actually like put the effort into it this year and it like, you know, quadrupled. So it's totally different depending on all of the things. And so just as much as you might want to, don't compare your business to other people's businesses, because they're all different. And if at any time my business, like talking about money and stuff, makes you feel uncomfortable, click out. I won't be offended. It's fine. I do it because I enjoy listening to that kind of stuff, and just, you know, data wise, I think it's interesting. But if that's something that's not serving you, don't watch. So I hope that helps as you go into the new year. I can't believe it is almost the new year. I feel like this year flew by. But alas, here we are, 2022. Let's make it a great one, and I hope you, you know, achieve all your goals and have a wonderful year. Bye.